welcome back to another video. So as you may have seen earlier on in the week, I did put a post out on my channel announcing I will be doing a cruise line series on this channel. So what that means is I will be doing a vlog focusing on a cruise line, and I will start this cruise line series today with P&O Cruises. As you may have seen across my channel, I have been on quite a few P&O Cruises, so I thought I would start with the cruise line that I have sailed most on. So let's get into it. So P&O Cruises is a British cruise line owned by Carnival. It's part of the Carnival UK umbrella, which features other cruise lines such as Cunard, but it is fully British. And if you've been on a P&O cruise, you will get that vibe just from the exterior shots. You can literally see the Union Jack flag, so definitely British cruise line. There are 7 cruise ships in the P&O Cruises fleet. They are Aurora, Arcadia, Azura, Ventura, Britannia, Iona and Arvia. Now Arvia is their most recent cruise ship. She came into service in December 2022, but the rest of them has sort of gone down the line a few years. Like Iona was 2021, Britannia was 2015, Ventura, Azura were 2010, 2008 and so on. So there's a few years in between them, but in total there are 7 ships. They are all very different ships, they're very different sizes. For example, Arvia, their biggest ship, is 5,200 passengers, whereas their smallest ship, Aurora, is like 1,500. So there's a big difference within all of the ships in the fleet. Now, in terms of the home port for P&O Cruises, it is mostly Southampton based, where there are ships that sail from different ports. P&O Cruises is British, so her home port will be England, it will be Southampton. The offices of P&O Cruises is literally in Southampton, and that's where most of the cruise ships sail from. However, there are times at P&O Cruises where they may do certain seasons. So for example, during the winter months, one of their ships, or at the moment 2 of their ships in the fleet, do the Caribbean. So they've got Britannia and Arvia that all do a transatlantic sailing from Southampton over to Barbados, usually around October time, and then she'll do the Caribbean season, just doing literally Caribbean cruises until about March, end of March, and then she'll do the sailing back to Southampton, which is also a voyage that you can book. This is the same with some of their other ships as well. So for example, Azura, one of their mid-sized ships, she doesn't really do much of Southampton. She's always based in either the Med or the Canary Islands. Their summer months, Azura is always going around sort of Croatia, Greece, Italy, and just staying around that area. I don't think she ever comes back to Southampton. She's very rarely in Southampton. But then you've got other ships which purely just do Southampton cruises, which is sort of Iona, Ventura and ships like that. They also do world cruises. So one of their ships, Arcadia, which is a favourite amongst passengers at P&O Cruises. Arcadia will do a 99-night world cruise, which starts from Southampton and ends in Southampton, and you can do the full 99 nights if you want to, but you can also do what they call a sector of a world cruise, where you can maybe sail from Southampton and then end at a port of the world cruise, and then you would typically fly back. So in terms of the itineraries that they offer at P&O Cruises, there is really something for everyone. Now, I always say in my opinion, P&O Cruises is the sort of starter cruise line. If you maybe aren't too sure about cruises, you don't want to go all out, you don't maybe want to do like a big grand cruise, maybe try like a Norwegian Fjords cruise or a Northern Europe cruise, and P&O Cruises offer so many of them. So I think that this is probably the best sort of starter cruise line to try if you want to maybe try a cruise. But there is something for everyone. There is, like, just off the top of my head, there's Fjords, there's Caribbean, there's Med, there's Northern Europe, like Amsterdam. They have short cruises to like Guernsey and back, so they're like taster cruises. So there really is something for everyone. So in terms of what you can have and what's sort of included in a P&O cruise. The main thing that I sort of like to highlight with P&O cruises is gratuities are included, so you don't have to, there's no sort of extra fee on your account at the end for tips. They're all included. Now, P&O cruises haven't always done this, but they have done it for, I think, for about 5 or 6 years now. But there are other cruise lines out there that you will realise when you go on a cruise, gratuities are automatically added to your bill. P&O cruises, they don't have that. They are included, but if you want to maybe tip as you go, tip a specific person for maybe going above and beyond, please definitely do that as well. Now, the cruise line offers 2 different types of fares that you can book. There is the saver fare, so the early saver, the late saver, just the saver fare, which means it's a lower price, so it's a bit more affordable. However, you don't get any benefits included, so you don't get any onboard spend. The cruise line actually allocates your cabin, so you can't choose it, and also with your dining as well. So if you want to have a specific dining time, if you want to have a specific cabin, I would go for the higher fare, which is the select fare, where you also get a benefit included as well, which is usually one of 3 that you can choose one of. You get onboard spend, so that is essentially a credit that the cruise line gives to you to spend on anything on board. And when I say, just a disclaimer, when I say anything, it's anything other than the medical centre and the casino. So there's onboard spend, and you can also choose either coach transfers, so you can actually get a coach down from a pickup point location, or you can actually have parking down at the terminal. You can actually go for car parking as well. So you get one of 3 included if you book the select fare. So those are the 2 fares: the saver fare, the cheaper fare, the more affordable fare, or the select fare. If you've been on other cruise lines and you've heard of like on a guaranteed basis, that's essentially what the saver fare is. So you're guaranteed the grade or the type of cabin that you book. You just can't choose exactly where your location is going to be. Now, in terms of cabins, this is sort of standard throughout the cruise line industry, but there are different types of cabins that you can book. Starting from inside cabins or interior cabins, they are just sort of, you get the cabin, it's the most affordable cabin, there's no outside light or space. But I would say, in sort of contrary to that, it's a great thing for sleeping because you are completely blacked out in the cabin. So that's the most affordable option. There is then like an outside or ocean view cabin, meaning you still don't get sort of outside space, but you do get some light coming in from like a porthole or window. So that's a nice, if you want to still get a view, but you can't really afford maybe the higher price of the next one up, which is the balcony, definitely go for an outside or ocean view because you still get the window there in your cabin. Then moving on to a balcony cabin. So depending on what ship you go for, there are different types of balcony cabins. There is an obstructed view balcony cabin where you actually get still the balcony, but your balcony view might be obstructed by a lifeboat or something other than something else that's sort of in your eye line. It can be fully obstructed, it can be partially obstructed. Just make sure you double check what you have booked. Then you also get sort of your standard balcony cabin, which is again just exactly what it is, just a balcony that's a standard balcony. You do get the full view. Then some ships also do have sort of deluxe balconies where you get some added extras in your cabin, maybe some flowers, maybe some extra space in your cabin, maybe a bath and a shower rather than just a walk-in shower, but those are offered as well at P&O Cruises. And then moving up, you can then have your mini suites, which is available on Iona, Aurora and Avia. They are essentially like a bigger than a deluxe balcony, so you might get sort of an extra living space area with like a sofa and like a sort of coffee table and that sort of lovely extra in your cabin. And then moving all the way up to the top, you do get your suites. Now they are the highest price, they are very popular and always in demand, and they are very difficult to get, especially the sort of the really big suites on cabins like Aurora and Arcadia. Those suites are like a divine. I haven't been in one myself, but they, just from the photos, they look really nice. In terms of pricing for these cabins and for the sort of package as a whole, it is the most affordable cruise line you will find in the UK. Well, I think just in general really. I think its competitors are most likely going to be maybe MSC, Carnival Cruise Line, those sort of affordable cruise lines that does what it's, you know, does what it says on the tin, but for this affordable lower price you still get most things included. So you get your accommodation, you get dining, however there are restaurants on board all of the P&O Cruises ships where you can pay an additional charge, entertainment, and visiting all of the different ports. So like on some places, some cruises, you can visit like 7 different countries. That's what we did when we did a Baltic cruise in 2019. We visited 7, it was either 7 or 8 countries, I can't remember now, but literally it was so good to just tick them all off because we visited them on one holiday. So moving on to what you can do on board. So as I just mentioned, there are different venues where you can dine. So when you typically go on a P&O cruise, there are a few venues that do have the food included. So obviously you've got your buffet, which is sort of the standard. You go and get as much as you want and the buffet is open like 22 hours a day or something. It closes at like 2 a.m. and then opens at like 5 a.m. or something like that for breakfast the next morning, so it is open a lot. So that's included, and then there are also the main dining rooms where it is a sit down, sort of a very high standard of service, 3-course meal. That is all included as well. If you did want to try and go and dine somewhere else at a cover charge, you are more than welcome to. Just remember it is a cover charge, so do expect a bill at the end of your meal. But there are so many different places on a P&O cruise that you can dine. On Iona and Arvia, there's 35 places to eat. 35. Like, that's insane. And when I went on Iona, I've been on Iona twice now, and I still haven't had, like, I haven't had a meal in every single place. So there is a lot to eat on those ships. Now, depending on where you want to dine, the cover charge could be a couple of pounds per person. Some venues have, rather than a sort of supplement charge, they will have just a pay per dish. So you might get like a main course for like £5, which is like so much better than getting like a £15-16 main course back on land. There are some places which might have like a £20 cover charge which covers you for the 3 courses, but then some of the courses may have an extra charge based on maybe what the food is. So it's very dependent on what you want to do, but you can definitely go on a cruise and eat for free all day every day, because there are venues where you can do that. And then speaking of other venues, there are so many different places for you to get a drink. And I don't just mean alcohol. No, I don't drink, so I am definitely not one of those people that will tell you all of the bar menus and prices because I don't know, because I don't buy them. But there are so many places where you can maybe go and get a cocktail, you can have pre-dinner drinks, you can have a coffee, you can have a beer, you can have a soft drink, and maybe do a quiz. There are so many places that you can just sit down and have a drink. With these venues, there are different things as well. So there's like a jazz bar, there's a pub where you can maybe play darts and pool, or do a quiz and then have a beer while you do the quiz. So there are so many places on board as well where you can just sit down and have a drink whilst doing anything. On my last cruise with my sister, we were sat in the atrium and we just had like an Earl Grey tea while I was sat doing a word search and just sort of listening to the background noise and doing some people watching. So there are so many lovely areas on these ships to just sit and chill. But you don't have to just sit and chill. You can sit around the pool, go for a swim. You can do a dance class. You can go into a shop and buy some stuff. You can go to the spa. Like, these are just some of the things that you can do on board. You don't have to sit and do nothing. You can basically do anything, and there'll still be more to do tomorrow. Now, the dance classes, you can literally do an exercise class, you can do a line dancing class, you can do ballroom and Latin dancing, because there are hosts on board that will teach you that. And it's so much fun as well. You can just walk in, you can just do it. You don't have to stay, you don't have to do it. You can just sit and watch if you're a bit nervous. But there's so many sort of classes that you can do as well. And there are also gym classes. You can do fitness classes like spinning. You can actually do like morning fitness classes to sort of like a wake-up call for you. I won't be doing that, but if you do, have fun. And then, as I just mentioned, the spa, there are also so many things to do in the spa. You can have treatments, you can have your hair done, you can have your face all glammed up, you can have your nails done, you can have a massage, you can go down to the sort of the thermal suite and just sit down on those hot stone things, those like sun loungers which are like hot, which I find really weird because it almost feels like you've wet yourself. And what I think is good about P&O Cruises as well is when you get the daily programme, like every day, the spa usually has discounts on there, so definitely check them out, because they, you know, there might be like a massage for like £80, but then the next day they might say 3 massages for £80. So just keep an eye on the daily programme, because the spa does like to offer discounts throughout the cruise. And then I also just wanted to mention that these cruise ships at P&O Cruises, there's something for everyone, because they're all 5 out of the 7 cruise ships are family friendly. 2 of them are adults only, which is fine, but then you've got 5 others to choose from, which, you know, you can go on a family summer holiday with your kids. There's kids clubs on board. They have Wallace and Gromit, they have Shaun the Sheep, they have a cinema on board. So there's a lot to do for everyone involved. I mean, I started cruising when I was 15, 14, around that age. And then we were going on with like 3 different generations. It was me, my mum and my nan. And that we were all just having fun everywhere we went. Like that, there is something for everyone. And I think that's what's so amazing about P&O Cruises, is because a lot of cruise lines maybe only cater towards adults, or maybe only cater towards young people. But P&O, it doesn't feel like there's only one generation that goes on there. P&O is very much for all of the family. There's something to do for every single generation, and I think that's great. Now, in terms of my favourite P&O ship, I'm gonna go with Avia, just purely because they have mini golf. Like, I'm such a child at heart, but I do love playing mini golf on a cruise. I've done it before on a princess ship, and I've done it before on a Royal Caribbean ship, and I love it. It's so much fun just playing crazy golf on a cruise ship in the middle of nowhere. Like, it's so much fun, especially when it's like really nice and warm outside and not windy, because that obviously wouldn't help if it was windy up on the top deck. But I love that Avia has a mini golf course. Avia also has an escape room, cinemas, a high ropes course, so like you can literally almost like go ape, you can do go ape at the top. So I just think Avia has just those little extras that I think like is amazing about the ship. And she's the newest ship, so I just think just by default she's my favourite. So if you're looking to book your first cruise, or if you're looking to book a cruise that you don't really know much about, I hope this video has helped, because although I know P&O is very British based, and I'm sure a lot of my subscribers are British, sometimes you don't know all about the cruise line. Sometimes you just want to hear it from someone. So I hope this does help you when you're maybe planning to book a cruise, because P&O is a cruise line that I have sailed with the most, and I love it. I love P&O. I do feel like it's a very homely type of cruise. I feel like it does feel like you're sort of home away from home, and in like the best way possible, and everyone's so friendly. So if you had any questions about P&O Cruises, anything I haven't mentioned which you want to know more about, please do comment down below, and I will 100% respond to any comments that I get. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope this helps you plan a lovely P&O cruise in the future.